Merry Christmas. You know, for years we would have a service on Christmas Day. And I know a lot of churches don't, but I felt we needed to, or at least I needed to, because I couldn't imagine having Christmas Day without celebrating the birth of Jesus. So we would have these services, usually 10 or 15 people would show up, and Julia was a trooper and would always play. And I would tell people, make it easy on yourself. Come in your jammies, bring your coffee and your fruitcake, because I know you're not going to eat it, but I like it, so bring your fruitcake. Well, guess what? Nobody did. So with the pandemic and with church not being open, what we did was we started doing what we're doing right now, which is recording a message. And I tell you, for the first time in 17 years, I got to spend the day complete with my family. It was neat. And so I'm glad we're being able to do this today. So what I read is something that every year I read. It's from the Radio City Christmas Spectacular. There was a fellow that put that entire project together. And what he insisted, he was a Christian, he insisted that the story of the Nativity be read. Something about really explaining the power and the impact of Jesus Christ. Now, when he decided it was time to retire, and they said, well, we'll just go ahead and use the Christmas Spectacular format, and he said, only if you include this part, the part that speaks about Jesus. And they didn't want to, of course, but guess what? They did. It's read every year to thousands upon thousands of people, and now for us. Hear this now. He was born in an obscure village, the child of a peasant woman. He grew up in another obscure village where he worked in a carpenter shop until he was 30. And then for 3 years he was an itinerant preacher. Never had a family, owned a home. He never set foot inside a big city. He never traveled 200 miles from the place where he was born. And he never wrote a book or held an office. He did none of these things that usually accompany greatness. And while he was still a young man, the tide of popular opinion turned against him. His friends deserted him. He was turned over to his enemies and went through the mockery of a trial. He was nailed to a cross between two thieves. And while he was dying, his executioners gambled for the only piece of property he had, his coat. And when he was dead, he was taken down and laid in a borrowed grave. 21 centuries have come and gone, and today he is the central figure of much of the human race. All the armies that ever marched, all the navies that ever sailed, and all the parliaments that ever sat, and all the kings that ever reigned, put together, have not affected the life of man upon this earth as powerfully as this one solitary life that we celebrate today. Merry Christmas.